I never told my cousin I skipped his dad's funeral because I was angry he got clean without me because when he hugged me months later and said, "I'm still here because of you," I couldn't bear to admit that I had let my resentment speak louder than my love ever had. I don't even know how to start this because it's not a story I ever planned to share. But something's been eating at me for years, and I guess I need to get it out. I need to be honest, even if nobody believes me, even if I come off looking like a piece of trash. 3.5 years ago, my cousin Drew lost his dad, my Uncle Kevin. Heart attack. Sudden. He was dead before the ambulance even pulled into the shop. Everyone around us was shocked. People cried. People showed up. People supported each other. Except me. I didn't go. I didn't call. I didn't send flowers. I didn't even text Drew. And to this day, he still thinks I was there, hiding in the back row. But I wasn't. I was sitting on the dirty carpet of my one-bedroom apartment in Trenton, New Jersey, shaking from withdrawal, sipping straight from a bottle of bourbon at 10 in the morning. There was an unopened black button-up shirt on my couch, still in the bag from Walmart. I had every intention of going. I printed out the directions. I set 3 alarms. But when that day came, I didn't even put on pants. Drew and I grew up like brothers. We were only 6 months apart. Our moms were sisters and we were born in the same hospital. We did everything together. First bikes. First fights. First cigarettes behind the gas station on Fairview Avenue. We were glued to each other all through middle school and high school. We even got into pills at the same time. It started with Oxy stolen from a neighbor's bathroom. Then it became part of our routine. Friday nights, passing a bottle, getting high, not talking about anything real. By senior year, we were barely functioning. I was failing out. Drew dropped out completely. We didn't even talk about it. We just met up, used, and floated. Then one night, everything changed. It was December. Cold enough you could see your breath inside the apartment. My mom had passed away earlier that year from cancer, and I was still living in her place. I had the heat turned off to save money. I was using constantly. Drew came over like always. We shot up together. Then I went to take a piss. When I came out, he was on the floor. Not moving. Lips turning purple. I didn't think. I just acted. I called 911, put the phone on speaker, and started chest compressions the way I remembered from high school gym class. His body felt wrong. He was stiff, but shaking, and there was foam at the corner of his mouth. Paramedics got there fast. They hit him with Narcan. He gasped, choked, came back. I sat in the corner, rocking, crying. It was the first time I cried in years. Drew was in the hospital for a night, then straight to rehab. His dad, Uncle Kevin, pulled every string he had and begged for help from everyone in the family. He found a place upstate in Monticello that had a bed open. Drew texted me 3 days in. "Wish you were here with me." I never answered. While he was getting clean, I was getting worse. I started using alone. Stopped going outside. Cut off everyone. I told myself it was because I needed space, but the truth was I was humiliated. I couldn't handle that Drew had chosen life while I was still choosing poison. Every time he texted me, I ignored it. Every time he posted something on Facebook, I felt rage bubbling up in my chest. He posted a selfie one day, 2 months clean. His eyes looked clear for the first time in years. He was smiling. I blocked him that night. I was jealous. Plain and simple. Jealous that he found something stronger than the urge to use. Jealous that he was building a life without me in it. Jealous that he had the guts to leave the hole we both helped dig. Uncle Kevin called me once. I didn't pick up. He left a voicemail. "Hey, I know things have been weird lately. Just wanted you to know that Drew's doing great. He misses you, and I do too. I'm proud of you, even if you're not where you want to be yet." I deleted it without listening to the end. Fast forward a few months. Drew was out of rehab. He was working part-time at a local body shop, living in a sober house with a guy named Chris. I knew this because my aunt would still send me emails, updates, even if I never replied. I didn't want updates. I wanted him to fall. I needed to know that this better version of him wasn't going to last. I wanted to be right about both of us being lost causes. But he didn't fall. He thrived. He went to meetings. He started painting again. He built model cars with his dad. I saw a picture on my aunt's Facebook. Drew and Uncle Kevin grinning in the garage, covered in grease and paint. I punched a hole in my wall that night. Then came the news. Uncle Kevin had a heart attack at the shop. It was instant. No warning. Dead before help could do anything. Drew was the one who found him. Tried to do CPR. Tried to bring him back the way I'd brought Drew back. But there was nothing to bring back. The funeral was on a Thursday morning. I had the invite. My aunt texted, then called, then emailed. I didn't respond. I sat there in my apartment, phone face down, blinds closed. I got up early, showered, put on the black shirt, stared in the mirror, and then I took it off, sat on the floor, and started drinking. I didn't go. The week after the funeral, I waited for a message from Drew. Some part of me thought he'd call, demand to know why I wasn't there. Ask where I'd been. But nothing came. Just silence. That silence hurt more than I expected. I convinced myself he didn't notice. That maybe in the chaos and grief, I slipped under the radar. But deep down, I knew better. My aunt knew I wasn't there. She must have told him. I went darker after that. Stopped leaving the apartment at all. I was barely eating, using more, drinking more. I let the lights burn out and didn't replace them. There were days I didn't even know what time it was. 3 months passed. And then it happened. I saw him outside a gas station on Route 29. I'd gone out for smokes and was shuffling across the parking lot when I heard a voice. Yo, no way, is that you? I turned and there he was. Drew. He looked like a whole different person. Clean cut. Healthier. A real shirt with buttons. Bright eyes. I looked like hell. He walked up fast and before I could think, he was hugging me. Tight. Strong. Real. And then he said the thing that ripped me in half. I'm still here because of you, man. That night. You saved my life. I went numb. All I could do was nod. He asked where I'd been, if I wanted to catch up. I said sure, even though my stomach was twisting. We sat in his car with the AC blasting. He talked. I listened. He told me about his job, his meetings, how hard it was losing his dad. He said, there were days I wanted to use again so bad it scared me. But I kept thinking, if you could save me once, maybe I could save myself too. I almost told him right then. Almost admitted everything. But I didn't. I didn't say I hated you for getting better without me. I wanted you to hurt like I was hurting. I skipped your dad's funeral because I couldn't stand seeing you strong while I was still weak. Instead, I said, I'm proud of you. He dropped me off near my place and told me if you ever want to get clean, I can help. No pressure. Just don't disappear again. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling until the sun came up. The next few weeks were a blur. Something shifted in me after that day. I tried to stop using. I flushed everything I had. Poured out every bottle. I lasted 4 days. On the 5th day, I woke up in a cold sweat, vomiting, shaking, screaming at shadows. I almost didn't make it. I don't know what kept me from giving in completely. Maybe it was Drew's voice in my head. Maybe it was shame. Maybe it was something else. But I reached out. Not to him. Not yet. I called my aunt. First time in over a year. I need help, I said. There was a long pause. She said, we'll get you on a bus. They sent me to a halfway house in Buffalo. It was brutal, cold, crowded, but it saved my life. I stayed for 6 months. Got a job cleaning motel rooms. Went to every meeting they offered. I cried more in those months than I had in the last 10 years. I didn't talk to Drew during that time. Couldn't. I didn't know what to say. It wasn't until I had a year clean that I finally texted him. Still alive. Still clean. Can we talk? He replied in less than 5 minutes, anytime. Come by the diner. Same one on Broad Street. We met up. He smiled the second he saw me. Hugged me again. Same way. Firm. Forgiving. We talked for 2 hours. He told me he was engaged. Her name was Bree. She was a nurse. They met at a community event for recovering addicts. I felt proud of him. I also felt like a fraud. And then I cracked. I need to tell you something, I said. Something I should have told you a long time ago. He tilted his head. I wasn't at your dad's funeral, I said. I didn't come. I couldn't. I was angry. I was jealous you got clean without me. I wanted to hurt you for moving on. His face didn't change. He didn't speak. I thought if you looked around and didn't see me, it would wreck you. I wanted that. I wanted you to feel like I felt abandoned. Silence stretched. Then he said something that flipped everything upside down. I already knew, he said. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? He looked down at his coffee, stirring it slowly like he was choosing his words. I saw the guest list. I asked around. My mom told me you never showed. I figured maybe you were high. Maybe you were angry. I didn't want to believe it, but yeah. I knew. I swallowed hard. Why didn't you say anything? He shrugged. Because I still meant what I said. You did save me. Doesn't change that. That should have been enough. But it wasn't. Because even as he forgave me, even as he sat there calmly drinking coffee with me like we were okay, I felt something twist in my gut. I realized I wasn't the only one who'd changed. Drew was different in ways I hadn't expected. He wasn't just clean, he was colder. More guarded. More careful with his words. I asked about his fiancée Brie. He talked about her in perfect sentences like he was reading from a script. Everything sounded too neat. Too rehearsed. So I started digging. I stayed in town. Got a job doing maintenance at a warehouse in Cherry Hill. Quiet work. Paid cash. I didn't tell Drew right away. I needed space. But curiosity gnawed at me. One night I ran into an old friend, Vic, who used to hang with us before everything fell apart. Vic told me something strange. He said, Drew came around asking about you a while back. Before Kevin died. Wanted to know if you were still using. Seemed pissed. Real intense. What do you mean? I asked. Vic leaned in. Said something like, if he doesn't want help, I'll stop trying. I'm done chasing ghosts. Didn't sound like the Drew I remembered. That bothered me. A lot. Then I found out something else. The night Uncle Kevin died, Drew wasn't just there. He was in the middle of a fight with him. I ran into Drew's old coworker at the auto shop, a guy named Alan. We were both grabbing smokes at the same gas station. He recognized me. Hey, you're Drew's cousin, right? Yeah. Hell of a thing, what happened to Kevin? Shame it went down like that. What do you mean? He looked surprised. You don't know? Know what? Drew and his dad had a huge blowout that morning. Screaming match. Drew walked out of the shop. Kevin collapsed not long after. My chest tightened. What were they fighting about? Drew said his dad kept treating him like he was still a junkie. Said he couldn't take it anymore. Said he was sick of apologizing for a past he already paid for. That detail rattled me. All I could think was, why didn't Drew ever mention that? I started seeing things different after that. Drew wasn't the golden boy I remembered. He was clean, sure. Successful, maybe. But something inside him was cracked. He wasn't just surviving. He was controlling everything. Every story. Every relationship. Every truth. Even me. He told me I saved him. That I was why he made it. But what if that wasn't true? What if that was his way of keeping me loyal? Keeping me quiet? Because if I was the one who saved him, then I owed him. That's what I realized sitting alone in my apartment, holding that old funeral invite in my hand. He forgave me because it gave him power, and I'd let him have it. But I wasn't the same guy anymore. I was going to find out what really happened the day Kevin died. And if Drew had been hiding something all this time, I wasn't going to protect him anymore. It took a few weeks before I found the right person to talk to. Kevin's old landlord. The guy's name was Hank, retired cop, ran the garage space Kevin had rented for years. I went down there pretending to be cleaning out old stuff. Said I was Kevin's nephew and wanted to pick up some tools. Hank didn't care. He lit a cigarette and leaned against the frame of the open garage door. You and Drew were thick, huh? Used to be, I said. Kevin talked about you. Said you were more like a son than a nephew. I swallowed. Yeah. He was like a dad to me. Hank nodded slowly. Then he said something that made my stomach flip. You know, Drew blamed Kevin for everything? His addiction. His relapse. Said his dad pushed him too hard. Got real nasty that last day. I kept my voice flat. What happened exactly? Hank took a long drag. I wasn't there, but I heard from Alan. Drew came in pissed off. Kevin told him he needed to slow down, that he wasn't ready to open his own shop yet. They yelled. Kevin called him arrogant. Drew called him useless. Walked out. 10 minutes later, Kevin dropped. I didn't say anything. Couldn't. Because I knew what that meant. I knew what that kind of stress did to a heart already worn thin. Drew didn't kill his dad, but he sure as hell lit the fuse. I didn't confront him right away. I watched. From the outside, Drew's life looked spotless. He was planning a wedding, still working at the shop, leading recovery meetings. He was their hero. But heroes don't erase their past. Heroes don't rewrite the truth. And I was done letting him walk around with that spotless image while I carried all the guilt. So I made a decision. There was a meeting Drew ran every Wednesday night in a church basement in Maplewood. I knew he wouldn't expect me there. I hadn't gone to a meeting in almost 6 months. I showed up late, waited in the back. He saw me and smiled, gave me a nod like everything was fine. When it was over, he walked over. "Good to see you," he said. "You thinking about coming back regular?" I looked him dead in the eye. "No. I'm thinking about telling people the truth." His face shifted. "What truth?" I pulled the folded letter from my coat pocket. It was from Alan, the coworker. I had asked him to write down what he saw that day. He did. Every word. I held it up. The fight. The things you said. How you left him right before he died. His jaw clenched. "That's not your business." "It is when you keep pretending to be some saint," I said. "You made me feel like shit for not going to the funeral, like I betrayed you. But you were the last person he saw and you were screaming at him." He looked around. People were watching. A few of the regulars. Bree wasn't there, but I wished she had been. "You need to back off," he said through his teeth. "You don't know what that day was like." "I know enough," I said. "I know you've been hiding behind this, you saved me line for years. But you didn't want saving. You wanted control." His eyes flared. "I pulled myself out of hell and you want to drag me back down?" "No," I said. "I just want people to know you're not some perfect story." He shoved past me and walked out. I stood there alone in that basement, feeling everything come loose. The fallout came fast. Word got around. Alan confirmed it to others. Hank talked to people. Drew didn't deny the fight, but he spun it, said it was just a normal argument. But the damage was done. Some of the guys from the meeting stopped showing. A few called him out. He stepped back from leading. Said he needed time. Bree called me a few days later. She was crying. Asked me why I did it. I told her the truth. Because I was tired of being the only one punished for my mistakes. As for me, I kept going to meetings after that. Not because I wanted revenge anymore, but because, for the first time, I could sit in those chairs without pretending. I wasn't better than Drew. I'd skipped a funeral out of spite. I'd wished pain on someone I loved. But I owned it. I told my story. I didn't leave anything out. And I finally forgave myself. In the end, Drew didn't fall apart. But he wasn't untouchable anymore. People saw his cracks. He stayed clean, but quieter. Less shiny. More real. We don't talk now. Not really. Just the occasional nod if we pass at a meeting. And that's okay. Because the truth's out now. He got clean without me. But I got free without him. And maybe that's what revenge really is, letting go of the story they wrote about you. And writing your own.